since the 80s. Interesting. All right. Troops in Afghanistan are fighting to keep the faith after the U.S. military removed a large cross from the outside of a NATO army base. The cross, which was erected about a month ago at Camp Marmel, reportedly violates army regulations. Joining us now with more on this story is Fox News radio host Todd Starnes. Okay, so Todd, this is Camp Marmel. It's in Germany.
Northern Afghanistan.
Oh, sorry about that. It's a German base.
German base.
That hosts NATO forces in northern Afghanistan.
That's right. And the U.S. Army is responsible for the chapel that's been there. It was just dedicated back in September. They built a new chapel, which is, it's not a big church with stained glass windows, but the military members that I talked to say that this place makes them feel like they're back at home. And they put a big cross outside to designate that this, in fact, is the chapel.
But they've taken the cross away because people were complaining, or they had received complaints.
That's right. I checked in with the Pentagon, and the spokesperson told me that people did, in fact, complain. They wouldn't tell me who or how many, but they said they did receive complaints. And sure enough, the Pentagon says that this cross violates Army regulations.
Well, here's what the Pentagon officially says. This is from the spokesperson. Military chapels have to be open to all denominations and, as such, can't have permanent symbols of one particular religion or another. Yet, this has been going on for a long time. The last 3 years, though, it seems that things seem to be changing.
That's right. And I talked to some conservative leaders, Tony Perkins from the Family Research Council, and they say this is a very scary trend within the past 3 years, where we have seen crosses and other Christian symbols cleansed from the military. Just last week at my website, I did a story about a cross in California, Camp Pendleton, that's under investigation right now because it may violate regulations.
But the thing is that these are supposed to be non-denominational buildings, correct? For people to worship?
Right, but the question is, what's the point of a chapel if you can't have religious symbols in the building? And the military says they have to be religiously neutral when they're not being used, for religious services.
What if there's a crescent, the crescent, for instance?
Well,
would it be the same situation?
Yeah, some people believe that if, in fact, it had been a crescent, then it would still be there and it wouldn't have been an issue. But it seems as though every time there is a Christian symbol or there's a Christian prayer, Operation Christmas Child, the holiday event to gather toys for kids, that came under fire at the Air Force Academy because it had a Christian component. So there seems to be a thread here, and it involves the Christian faith.
We will continue to investigate this. I'm sure you will be doing that
Absolutely.
for us. Give us any updates if you find them.
Will do.
All righty.